Hello and welcome again to Shardcast. I'm your host Froatsylvania, and this is going to be a special episode for Shardcast. We have reached our 20th episode. So I'd like to thank each and every one of my viewers for making this happen, as well as the people who allow me to use their Twitch feeds in order to be able to cast the games for you. Also a special for Shardcast because today is my birthday. Not to give myself a shout out, but we're going to do that today. Today is my birthday, and I turned 21. Kidding, 31. Still feel 21 though. But I thought as a birthday present to myself, I'm going to cast one of my own games. Seems a little self-centered, but happy birthday to me. I am going to use Govir's stream though. I'm not going to use it from my point of view, I'm going to use it from Govir's because I didn't personally stream the game. This is actually going to be an exhibition between Govir and myself. This took place on Sunday before I played in my XTCG Pro placement tourney match, so this was a little bit of a trial match for me. So what I will do is I'll get that loaded up here for you on our screen, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it from Govir's point of view. Let's see if I can make sure the sound's turned off here. Here is the coin flip. And I believe I won the coin flip, if I remember correctly. It's going to be hard for me to cast this again. It was a couple days ago, and my memory is not the best in the world, given the fact that I just turned 31. But I'll try to remember as much as I can about my own hand, but I'm going to try to cast this as if I don't know the opponent's hand, like I normally do. In the meantime, Govir will look at his starting 7 and decide he's going to throw that in, and draw 6 additional cards. Froatsylvania will be on the play, and as I said before, I'm going to cast this as if that's not me. So Govir decides to keep his hand of 6. He has a Blood Shard, Diamond Shard, Shards of Fate, Inner Conflict, Life Siphon, and Spiritual of Cloud Knight. Froatsylvania will be first act. He also went down to 6 cards, and he plays a Diamond Shard for turn. As we see in the corner, I was asking Govir if it would be odd for me to cast this game. My original intention was not to cast this game, except the more I talked to Alaren about this at work, we thought it would be kind of a neat thing to do, given that it was my birthday and it's my 20th episode, that sort of thing. So Govir draws card for turn. He draws another Diamond Shard. He will drop one of those and pass turn. Also, I wanted to feature this match because I had listened to the Threshold podcast this morning while I was at work, and I believe it was Josh Augustine on there, or it could have been Eric Belsauce. I'm not savvy with the ears there to figure out who's who speaking. I believe it was Josh, though, that mentioned how he hadn't seen an Inspire deck do well yet, and that's what I featured in this game. So, not to give away what I'm playing on the other side, but I did play an Inspire deck, and I kind of wanted to show that Inspire deck can do okay, given the right draw. So I drew card for turn and dropped a Ruby Shard, and dropped a Shield Trainer, which is a 2/2 Inspire Troop for 2, which if another troop with a cost of 2 or more comes into play, that troop gains Steadfast. And pass turn over to Govir. Govir draws a Blood Shard and drops a Shard of Fate, and goes ahead and plays a Blood Threshold. He didn't have anything to play this turn, so it's not a bad idea to go ahead and use the Shard of Fate because it won't slow him down. So he has 6 cards in hand, and passes back turn over to Froatsylvania. Froatsylvania draws card for turn and drops a Diamond Shard again, and a Ruby Pyromancer, which is a 2/1 troop for 2. Its Inspire ability is +1/+0. So it gains the Steadfast from the Shield Trainer. Froatsylvania uses his Champion Power to give Shield Trainer Life Drain, and we'll swing for 2. Govir with no answers will have to take it and go down to 18. That's 1 resource available to play and 3 cards in hand. Froatsylvania will pass turn back over to Govir. Govir draws another Spiritual Cloud Knight, give him his 2nd copy. So he plays a Diamond Shard and plays one of those Spiritual Cloud Knights. The 3/2 troop for 3 that has Flight, Life Drain, and Steadfast. And you see Govir's champion power lights up. Both players are playing Dimit as their champion. So you don't need to get the Cloud Knight life drain because it already has it inherently. Pass turn over to Froatsylvania, who draws a card for turn. And plays a Ruby Shard, giving him 2 threshold of each. He plays a Kraken Guard Mariner, which is a 1-drop, 1/1 troop, with inspirability of +0/+1. We have Shield Trainer, Ruby Pyromancer that has Steadfast, and a Kraken Mariner. Froatsylvania gives the Shield Trainer life drain by using the champion power. And we'll swing both the Ruby Pyromancer and the Shield Trainer. We shouldn't have any qualms about this because Govir's Cloud Knight is a 3/2, meaning either one of those troops would kill the Cloud Knight. It's a pretty good trade for Froatsylvania if you can pull it off. Yes, he loses an Inspired troop off the board, but that Cloud Knight can be a beast if it gets away from him. And it looks like Govir decides to block here. Not quite sure if he knew that was a 3/2 and not a 2/3. Or maybe he didn't know the Pyromancer was 2/1. Maybe he misread it. Either way, they'll trade here. Govir will go down to 19. Froatsylvania up to 24 now. And second main phase, Froatsylvania plays Blessing the Fallen. So, that's a constant for 3-drop that says that Inspire abilities in the graveyard also count when you put a card into play. So losing that Ruby Pyromancer really didn't hurt him at all. Govir with no troops on board draws a Righteous Paladin. Drops a Blood Shard. And we'll play... Let's see if he plays the Paladin or the Cliff Knight. Imagine he play the Cloud Knight first. That way he can swing on the next turn when he plays the Paladin and immediately buff the Paladin. That's what he decides to do here. Plays the Cloud Knight. So Cloud Knight on board again for Govir. 1 resource available with 4 cards in hand. Blood Shard, Inner Conflict, Life Siphon, and Righteous Paladin. Froatsylvania has 1 card in hand with a Shield Trainer, Kraken Guard Mariner, and a Blessing the Fallen on the board. And Froatsylvania will draw for turn. Plays a Ruby Shard, and immediately plays Legionnaire of Gawain, which is 4/4 troop for 5, but says will deal damage to each opposing troop and each opposing champion equal to the number of times it was inspired. So we got the 2 on board and the 1 in the graveyard. So 3 damage to Govir and 3 damage to Cloud Knight. We'll take it off the board. Govir down to 16. That allows the Shield Trainer and the Mariner to swing away, dealing 3 more damage to Govir, down to 13. So Froatsylvania has a 5/5 Legionnaire with Steadfast on the board. So he gets the +1 from the Pyromancer, or +1/+0 from Pyromancer, +0/+1 from Mariner, and the Steadfast from the Shield Trainer. Govir draws another Paladin, drops a Blood Shard. I imagine he's going to Paladin here and Inner Conflict the Legionnaire. Froatsylvania has no cards in hand. And that's exactly what Govir does. Make sure that Legionnaire doesn't start wreaking havoc upon him. So it will be Inter-conflicted. Meaning cannot attack or block. So Govir out of resources now, will pass turn. Froatsylvania at 24 health, Govir at 13. Froatsylvania out of cards with 5 permanent resources. Start his 6th turn. Draw a card for turn. And plays Lord Alexander the Courageous, which is a 3/3 troop for 3. Its inspirability is Speed. So again, it gains the +1/+0 from the Pyromancer, +0/+1 from the Mariner, and the Shield Trainer Steadfast. So it's a 4/4 now with Steadfast instead of just a 3/3. Froatsylvania swings the Shield Trainer, knowing that Govir, decides to block, we have to with his Paladin, loses his only troop. So Govir will take it and go down to 11. And Froatsylvania will pass turn. Govir 2 cards in hand, a Life Siphon, and a Paladin will draw a card for turn, and that's a Blood Shard. It will drop the Blood Shard, drop the 2nd Paladin. And let's see if he decides to give the Paladin Life Drain. I probably wouldn't do that because he's probably not going to swing into Lord Alexander. Lord Alexander again is a 4/4. Both Paladins he has on board are 2/2s. So he basically just be throwing the Paladin away at this point in time. He could Life Siphon, that would just be for 3, That would pump up both his paladins, meaning he could double block if Froatsylvania were to attack and at least keep one of the paladins. He does do that. He life siphons for 3, emptying his hand. Froatsylvania down to 21, Govir to 14. Both paladins, that say they gain +1/+1 for each time life is gained. They both go up to 3/3. But again, Govir can't attack with his lone paladin that was already in play because Lord Alexander is 4/4. Pass his turn. Both players top decking at this point in time. Froatsylvania with 5 resources available, readies his shield trainer and draws a card for turn. And draws another shield trainer. It'll come in as a 3/3 with steadfast. But because it's only cost 2, it doesn't get the speed from Lord Alexander. But that does pose as another blocker to the Righteous Paladins if he were not to gain any more life. Again, with the Blessing of the Fallen on the board, Froatsylvania doesn't mind trading troops. He still gets the ability from them. Imagine Froatsylvania will swing the 4/4 Lord Alexander. We'll see if we get the double block as suspected earlier in the turn. And yep, that's the only one Froatsylvania will attack with. Govir will just take the 4. So he goes down to 10 life. Froatsylvania at 21. Out of cards. We'll pass turn. Govir also out of cards, will be top decking. He draws a Blood Shard. Not real that much help. And I imagine he's going to pass turn and probably be forced to block something next turn. He really needs an extinction or some way to gain life here, like a life siphon would be good. Froatsylvania draws a card for turn, his lone card in hand, and it is a Krakengard Mariner. It'll come in as a 1/2. The only one drop he has out on the board with Inspire is the other Mariner. And he will swing with Lord Alexander, 4/4 Steadfast, and Shield Trainer, 3/3 Steadfast. Govir decides to double block with the Paladins. Means he'll lose one of them, but keep the other and keep Lord Alexander off play. Govir goes down to 7. 21 to 7 the health totals. Like I said before, it doesn't really hurt Froatsylvania because he can still gain that ability from Lord Alexander anytime troop comes into play because of Blessing the Fallen. Govir draws a Spirit of Cloud Knight. Not a bad card here, because then he can start pumping up his Paladin. So he still won't attack this turn, but without the life drain or life gain ability, he's not going to be able to block the Shield Trainer next turn. Well, he could block it with the Cloud Knight, and then gain life for his Paladin, but he loses the Cloud Knight. So he will pass turn with just a Blood Shard in hand. Froatsylvania will draw a card for turn. Plays a Ruby Shard. Lights up his champion power again. And he will give probably the 3/3 Shield Trainer life drain. He does. Which means he'll definitely be swinging it. So, Shield Trainer, the 3/3 Shield Trainer, the one with Steadfast, has life drain as well this turn. You have to think he's going to swing that. Kind of begging Govir to block one of them. He may not, just so he can swing the Cloud Knight next turn, because Froatsylvania doesn't have any flying troops. He doesn't. Govir goes down to 4, Froatsylvania up to 24. Froatsylvania out of cards has a 2/2 Shield Trainer, a 3/3 Shield Trainer with Steadfast, a 1/1 Mariner, a 1/2 Mariner, Blessing the Fallen, and a Interconflicted Legionary of Gawain. Govir draws an Ivory Pawn for turn. That's a huge card with the Paladin, because now he can immediately gain the life and buff the Paladin up. So it's now a 4/4. So he will swing with Spiritual Cloud Knight. It has Steadfast, so it can actually block next turn. That'll take Froatsylvania down to 21. The life drain will move Govir back up to 8 and buff the Paladin up to a 5/5. So Govir can start swinging the 5-5, but Froatsylvania at this point in time has no reason not to double block. Draws card for turn. It's an inner conflict. Couldn't have been a better top deck there. That's got to go against the Paladin. It does. So now buffing at the Paladin really doesn't help Govir. Govir needs a extinction pretty much at this point in time. Froatsylvania will swing the 2 shield trainers, posing for 5 damage, but if Govir decides to block one of them, either one he blocks will kill the Cloud Knight. He chooses not to block, so he goes down to 3 health. 21 health to 3. Govir needs an extinction here. Another Paladin wouldn't be bad. It would delay for another turn. He looks through his graveyard here. Govir draws a Diamond Shard, which isn't either of those, so it's looking like that's going to be it. Because even if Govir holds one back, he can go up to 7 health here. The Light Troop will go through, and it's got Steadfast. Not quite game yet. Govir should have one more turn. Deals 3 damage, attacking with Cloud Knight. Froatsylvania goes down to 18, Govir to 7. Because blocking with the Cloud Knight would gain Govir health, you can see Froatsylvania can swing for 7 next turn, but the 3 health back would indeed keep him alive. Clergyman, however, is going to come into play. The 3 drop, so it will gain a lot of Inspirability, so instead of being a 3-2 with the Inspirability of +1/+1, it will come as a 4-4 with speed and Steadfast, so he's immediately going to swing it, along with the Shield Trainer, along with both Shield Trainers. So anyone who decides to block is going to die to... The Cloud Knight's going to die no matter which one he blocks. He blocks the 3-3 Shield Trainer, taking it off the board with him. He'll take 6 damage, but net 3, so he's going to go down to 4 health here. But he needs Extinction in the worst kind of way, because he's not going to be able to block all 4 troops next turn. It would be game without a troop, without an Extinction here. While the Ivory Pawn would keep him alive for one more turn. Soul Marble's not a bad draw here, however, I think he's going to be 1 turn short. He'll gain life up to 5. Shard goes down, Soul Marble plays, giving him 7 resources available, which won't be a full 10. But unfortunately, he's not going to survive the barrage of the next turn. So one more turn, and the Soul Marble, he'd be able to transform the Soul Marble. So that's going to be game. And Govir does wish good game. Froatsylvania wishes it back. Govir's going to go ahead and play it out. As he looks at Legionary Gawain again. Froatsylvania draws a card for turn and drops a Royal Falconer. So all 3 of those are going to come into play here. The Falconer and his 2 Falcons with a bunch of buffs here. Yep, a 4-5 Falconer with Steadfast and Speed, and 2 6-4 Falcons with Flight, Steadfast, and Speed. That will end the game as he swings one of the Falcons at Govir, not to overload here. And that'll be game. So I know it was a little bit odd and maybe slightly corny for me to do one of my own games for the 20th Shardcast, as well as the Shardcast for my birthday. But again, like I said, I was sort of doing it as a present to myself. I've never done one of my games, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to do one of my own, look at it from a different point of view. But I also wanted to kind of give the Threshold podcast crew a little bit to think about the Inspired deck. They seemed less than inspired when they were talking about it earlier. I guess it would have been Thursday in their podcast, but it actually came out on their site today. I want to go ahead and give Govir a shout out again. Thanks again for being a good sport and for allowing me to use your Twitch stream. I'm going to give a link to his Twitter page, to his Twitter handle and his Twitch page at the bottom. I also want to give a shout out to the Threshold podcast. They were going to tune into this episode specifically for the Inspire stuff. You can, I'll go ahead and post their information at the bottom of the screen as well, in the comment section. So that's going to do it for me. This is the 20th Shardcast. I appreciate you for tuning in. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you get updates whenever I do post a new Shardcast. Follow me on Twitter. They're at Froatsylvania. I always send a tweet out whenever I post a new video as well. So if you want to be a player in a Shardcast want to feature your Twitch stream, go ahead and either send me a tweet, send me a message through the YouTube channel, and I will try to get yours on. Like I said, all I ask is that you don't cover up a chunk of the gameplay to where I can show it, because I tried to crop off any webcam and or chat that you may have on there. Govir had his chat running on the bottom of the screen, so I was easily able to crop that out and not losing the gameplay. So that's all I ask. But again, send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to feature your stream on a future Shardcast. But until next time, again, I am Froatsylvania, and so long. Brace yourself.